Hi, everyone. This is Ed LaFlamme, head harvester from the East Coast. And I have with me our distinguished guest, Nataly Mualem. Natalie, why don't you give the folks a little hint of what you do?
Thank you so much, Ed. My name is Nataly Mualem, and I am the founding attorney at Mualem Firm. Our firm specializes in the H-2B visa program, and I've been doing H-2Bs for about a decade now. So definitely excited to jump in and give everybody a little bit more information about the program.
Now, for those who don't know or not as aware as they should be, let's say, what is the H-2B program?
Sure. So the H-2B program is a temporary visa program for seasonal businesses in order to be able to bring in foreign workers to the United States to fill temporary jobs. It's a program that's run in conjunction between the Department of Labor, Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of State.
Fantastic. Now, I hear so many rumors now about the program. Um, are the companies around the country, are they getting their workers this year?
Most are. So most companies should be getting their workers this year. That will depend on a few different things. It will depend on the strategies they had in place. It will depend on where they landed in the lottery, so the visa lottery that occurred, especially for April visas. And it will also depend on their ability to recruit cap exempt or returning workers. So those factors really determine who has workers and who doesn't. We did an internal review for our clients, and actually, as of April 1, 70% of our clients already had workers on site. Another 20% is expected to have workers before the end of April. And then the remaining clients we are seeking other options for.
Awesome. So what's the total amount that's allowed into the country this year?
So this year is one of the years where the maximum amount of supplemental visas was allocated. So there's 66,000 that is automatic. That is the minimum threshold. Actually, the maximum threshold typically for the visa cap. So 66,000 is what's standard. On top of that, we have an additional 67,000 plus visas that are available for supplemental. And this year they actually awarded the maximum number of visas available. So we have just above 133,000 for the fiscal year, which begins in October.
Oh, do you see more than that even coming?
So no, I don't think so, because the only way to have more is to exempt certain companies or certain categories from the cap. This is actually the maximum allowed by Congress for the supplemental. So over the past couple years, the government has been maxing out the supplemental, which is like the bonus round of visas. They have been maxing that out on top of the 66,000 already available. So there's definitely a little bit of recognition, at least, of how much the H-2B program has become competitive, and they're issuing more visas than ever.
Fantastic. So with the Labor Department using a lottery, sounds like I'm in Las Vegas, using the lottery every year to determine which companies get their workers. The harvesters, okay, we'll speak for ourselves here. The harvesters preach to their clients that companies shouldn't rely on the H-2B program. What's your thoughts?
I've actually heard you say that, Ed. So, what my thoughts are definitely do not rely on H-2B blind. Don't go into it thinking that you're going to file one application and hope for the best. What we do and what we work on our clients with is basically a long-term strategy for H-2B. So we create multifaceted, multi-step strategies. It usually includes something that, depending on the business need, maybe we're filing in two seasons. We're filing when it's less competitive. Maybe we are creating a system of cap exempt workers. Sometimes we file multiple applications in a season to increase those chances as well. So there's a lot of things that can be done that increase somebody's chances of getting workers. And that's why 70% of our clients have their workers in place already, because we relied on these approaches. So definitely do not rely on H-2B if you don't have a plan, if you're not well guided. But I think H-2B can become very sustainable and stable if you have a good plan in place.
Mm, I know there's a lot to it,
Of course.
for sure. All right, this is a huge question. If you look down the road a piece, what do you think of the future of the program?
Sure. So I don't think H-2B is going anywhere. We hear a lot of rumors about reducing the program. Obviously, that's hasn't happened yet. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the H-2B program will continue to have the 66,000 base number of visas. I also don't see Congress doing anything about that. And I also think we're going to continue to have the 67,000 plus number of visas available under supplemental maxed out most years. What I do think might happen is they might create exemptions for certain categories of employers or employers that are very reliant on H-2B. So they might create exemptions for employers who have had and relied on H-2B in the past, as well as those who potentially, are belonging to certain fields of work. So we've heard of that, and there's been a lot of efforts that way. I also think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on compliance and enforcement with all facets of immigration, including H-2B. So we've seen that as well, which means that you really should be working with an attorney or someone who's well qualified with H-2B. And why we honestly are trying to spread the word that everybody, under H-2B programs should be more careful and have best practices already put in place.
Excellent. Oh, that's good news.
Exactly.
Now, we don't have time today to discuss this because it's too big a subject, but I understand that some companies are helping their people to apply for green cards. What's involved in that?
Sure. So the
Mhm.
green card process requires getting a permanent labor certification. You basically have to present to the government the basics of the job. You have to give them the minimum wage for the job, and we go through a very similar process actually that we do for H-2B. Then we have to advertise for the job and show that there are no qualified U.S. candidates, and then match up the candidate that you prefer. So whether somebody here on H-2B or something else, we match up their qualifications against the job and then get that permanent labor certification. Once that's done, the company has to show ability to pay the wage and then also show that all the required steps were taken, and that person can then adjust their status or go through the consulate to get a green card or an immigrant visa. There were actually recent modernization rules which actually changed the way that people here on H-2B are able to continue renewing their H-2B even when they have the green card process going, which is actually a very major new change that made it easier to have both programs run concurrently.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. I know some of my clients are doing that right now. I think that's
Absolutely.
really smart. So in future videos, we'll have to talk about that more.
My
And
pleasure. Absolutely.
yeah, because I think that's really the answer, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think for green cards, if it's the right worker, if it's somebody that you think will continue to stay with you, and if they have enough buy-in, it's definitely the ultimate solution. It's a win-win situation. There's certain steps that we try to have the clients go through to make sure that they are, first of all, ready to embark on that long journey of getting a green card, and that the candidates they've selected are a good fit for it. And as long as those two things are true, yes, that I think it's a nice way to incentivize your workers to return to you every year as well, when they know at the end of the tunnel they're going to be able to gain permanent residency and have their family come here as well.
Well, fantastic, Natalie. I'm so happy that we're able to get together and share this information with our viewers. This is going to be really fantastic. For those of you watching now, if you want to learn more, I'll have Natalie's email address right below the video, so you can check that out. Okay, again, thank you, Natalie. And this is Ed LaFlamme, head harvester from the East Coast, saying that, if you employ some of these practices, it's going to really help you harvest your potential.